For 6 months, I solely trained calisthenics from my backyard, and today I'm going to take you through a week of workouts. My main goals were working on my 90-degree handstand push-up and iron cross. For flexibility, I worked on my splits and back bends, no real goals to progress any, just to slightly maintain them. And then as far as legs, you'll see that they were not my priority. I did include some drills, but just really to maintain what I already had to work with. Normally I change up my program focus every 8 to 12 weeks, but because I knew I was going to be in Mexico for 6 months training in my backyard, I decided just to keep the goals the same. Disclaimer, please don't copy these workouts to a T. This is just meant to inspire you and give you some insight on how I train. Plus, this week of workouts takes place at the end of my 6-month training block, meaning that I had already had 6 months to condition my elbow tendons to handle this high of a load. Let's get into day 1, which is iron cross day. I start each workout with a warm-up routine with the main focus of waking up my body after a long day of sitting at my desk. I perform both dynamic and passive drills to get into my regular working depth of all of my main stretches. I also include drills that help with the flexibility needed for my upcoming workout. After I'm feeling mobile, I go into a few activation drills to prime my body for that day's focus. Because today is all about straight arm strength and shoulders, I want to ensure everything is prepped for the heavy load I'll require of them later, especially my elbow tendons. Now, you might be wondering why the heck I'm doing banded archer pull-ups when I can do regular archer pull-ups. And that's because this is part of my warm-up and activation period. I want to keep my elbow fully straight, the best that I can, which is much easier to do with a band, at least with my current strength level. Going into wide RTOs. Next, we have the main exercise of the day, which is iron cross pulls. I know you're about to tell me to use a false grip when practicing anything to do with the iron cross, but I didn't figure out how to actually execute the false grip in this position until the week after I filmed this video. I would like to see my future self keep my elbows straighter and be able to execute all the reps without needing to regress. But here's where I'm at today, completely struggling, but trying my best. I then superset it with a leg exercise to ensure my upper body has a long enough rest period in between sets. Next up, we have Bulgarian dips, which you have no idea how hard these are unless you've tried them before. I pair these with middle split get-ups. One thing I'm really lacking in is my active middle split strength, and I'm hoping these will help with my long-term goal of sliding into the middle splits from standing. Finishing up today's workout with some accessory work and stretches as the sun goes down. At this point, you might be wondering what rings and equipment I'm using, so let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Movement Made. They're a minimalistic, eco-friendly calisthenics equipment brand that I've been using for months now. I used to find regular gymnastics rings to be super bulky and awkward to store in my gym bag, so I rarely use them. But these rings change that. They're portable, they're lightweight, and they're super easy to set up using their innovative multi-strap design. And you'll notice that I use their parallettes in almost every single workout and have done so for months now. If you're interested in learning more about their sustainability practices or checking out all the equipment they have to offer, visit their website. And if you want multiple things from them, make sure you check out their bundled deals as it makes it much more affordable. Plus, you can use discount code SummerFunFitness to save even more. Thank you Movement Main for sponsoring this video. Day 2 is the best day. It's 90-degree handstand push-up training day. If you follow me, you know I've been able to do handstand push-ups for a few years, with my max reps being around 7 to 8 in a row. Even though I'm coming into this fairly strong, I'm still nowhere near the 90-degree handstand push-up. Now that I'm warmed up, I'm going to start today's workout with a superset of E-ROM push-ups to activate my chest, as well as open it up a bit. Pairing these with freestanding handstand practice. Then comes the hard part, working on my bent arm planche. I'm starting with banded reps and then moving on to bodyweight reps. As I go through the holds, you'll see I start with a harder progression, then quickly regress as needed to make up the total hold time. Today was not a strong day, as I can generally hold full reps for at least 5 seconds. Next, we have a regressed version of a concentric 90-degree handstand push-up. I just started doing these last week. Again, I'm just learning this, so my form is far from perfect, but with intention and practice, it will continue to get better. It might not look like I'm leaning that far forward, but I promise you this little tiny shift makes it so much more challenging than just pressing up from a regular handstand push-up. Then I went on to a big superset of negative handstand push-ups paired with a hip adduction exercise and banded horse stance to give my upper body a big break while working on my mobility. I've been including this hip adduction drill to improve my ability to lift my leg off the ground in dragon squats. Then we have banded horse stance, which is one of my favorites. If you don't have access to weight, this is a super challenging exercise that I highly recommend trying out. I love them. Ending with our last superset of pike push-ups and seated leg lifts for just 2 sets, as I was absolutely dead. After that, I'll end with some stretches and call it a day. This week, I'll be training 5 days per week. Most winters, I train 6 to 7 days per week, as I'm normally working out in a gym and I have access to a larger range of equipment and exercises. This winter is, of course, very different as we move to Mexico and I swap to backyard workouts. With the reduced exercise variety, I get really tired and can only train 4 to 5 days per week, most weeks being just 4 days. But this week, I did manage 5 by adding in a play day, which is today. One thing people often miss when working on their back bends is stretching out their hips too. You'll see I do a lot of split work in order to get the deepest back bend that I can possibly muster up with these sore upper body muscles. Beginning with dropping back and standing up with my arms overhead is nearly impossible right now, but I'm trying my best. Then onto full walkover attempts. My goal here is to drop back with one leg lifted and end with one leg lifted, but I cannot do that yet. After that, I perform these advanced tuck leg raises to activate the front of my core. My goal here is to keep my gaze forward, even at the top. Pairing these with some hip work to improve my pancake and middle split mobility. I also had a little bit more juice in my arms, so I practiced some iron cross pulls too. These felt much better today than on Monday, but I would like to see my hands come a bit more forward instead of being pushed behind my body. I paired these with some assisted sissy squats. ending with our final superset of commando pull-ups and Australian rows, as I don't have much space for these in my regular workouts, but I still want to do them in order to maintain structural balance in my body. Basically, these two exercises are just cleaning up some loose ends in my week of workouts. Then finishing with stretching, of course. Day 4 is handstand push-up day again. Today we're starting with the concentric handstand push-ups, as the last session we started with the bent arm planche first. I like to change up the order so that I'm not always doing the same exercise fatigued. If you're wondering what the band is doing on the ground, it's acting as a marker to help me lean more on each rep. Of course, right now I'm not strong enough to lean as far as the bent arm planche, but slowly, by consistently moving the band farther and farther away, I will get there. Let's montage the rest of the workout, as I've talked about all these drills on day 2 already. Day 5, finishing the week up with iron cross once again, following the same activation drills we did on day 1. As you can imagine, I'm very sore and tired today, but I'm gonna push through and keep visualizing my end goal and the reason why I'm doing this workout. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching my week of workouts. I hope I've inspired you and that you've learned some new things. I'm actually now back in Canada and deciding on what I want to focus on for my next training block. I'm considering making planche and front lever kind of my main goals. I actually, surprise, learned that I could hold a straddle planche despite not working on it pretty much at all over the last 6 months, but I guess my iron cross and handstand push-up training did help me make some unexpected gains, so that's pretty exciting, and I'm stoked to actually include some straight arm planche work. Now, I'm sure some of you are gonna think that I should stick with these two main goals that I showed in this video until I've mastered them, but that's not how I feel. I don't train for competitions, I'm just training for fun and doing the best with the environment that I have to work in. So I chose those goals because they worked really well in training in my backyard, but now things are gonna change and I wanna make sure that I actually enjoy my training. So I might decide to stick with them and incorporate them a bit or completely change up my main goals. I'm not quite sure yet, but I will update you in the future. And if you need some help focusing on your own workout journey, I do have calisthenics programs ranging from true beginners, 3 days a week for 30 minutes, all the way up to intermediates who are working on their handstand push-ups. All of my programs also include a group chat so you can talk with other people of your same level. I hope to see you in the chat, and for more information, visit summerfunfitness.com. And thank you so much to Movement Made for sponsoring this video. Thank you for being here.